Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Test, 1, 2.
And Charles.
Test! Oh my god, I forgot to study!
Aloha! My name is Gavin and I am the Stewardship Coordinator of the Hanauma Bay Education Program. The Hanauma Bay Education Program, HBEP, is based at the Hanauma Bay Nature Preserve in Honolulu, Hawaii. HBEP is an education program whose mission is to enhance appreciation and promote understanding and stewardship of Hawaii's marine environment through public education. HBEP is administered by the University of Hawaii Sea Grant College Program and is supported by the City and County of Honolulu Department of Parks and Recreation. HBEP Podcast Number 7, A Malama Hanauma.
Aloha and welcome to our educational podcast. My name is Mahalo.
And I'm Charles.
And this is Gavin.
And we are part of the education team here at the Hanauma Bay Nature Preserve located in Honolulu, Hawaii. Throughout our educational podcast, listen for our trivia question, scientific words, and other sound bites and music. All right, we took a little break to wrap things up with our summer here at Hanauma Bay. We hosted a summer intern from Japan.
Noriho was a great help this summer. She helped us with a lot of translation projects that we will definitely be using in the future.
Yes, Noriho-chan, arigatou gozaimashita. And actually, Charles was at sea doing research.
That's right, it's good to be back.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you did on your research cruise?
Well, the research cruise that I participated in was a month-long research voyage aboard the RV Kilomoana with the University of Hawaii. Our voyage took us south of the Hawaiian Islands to about 8 degrees above the Earth's equator, and along the way we took mercury and thorium samples from a variety of different marine life.
So from anything from tiny plankton to massive top-level predators, huh?
Yes, those mahi-mahi, marlins, and monsters of the deep.
What?
Wow, monsters.
Yeah, benthic oddities like your deep-sea creatures, anglerfish, gulper eels, and vampire squid.
Cool.
We also took basic water quality measurements like density, temperature, and salinity.
Ah, yes. Salinity is the amount of dissolved particles in seawater. Sometimes people refer to salinity as the amount of salt in the water, but actually seawater has more than just NaCl or salt. For example, there's magnesium, also in seawater.
That's right, Mahealani. The salinity of fresh water or drinking water is typically 0. But do you know what the salinity of ocean water is?
That is an excellent question for our trivia question. Our trivia topic for this podcast is salinity. As Mahealani said, salinity is the amount of dissolved particles in water. What is the salinity of ocean water? Think about your answer. And for this trivia question, remember, the salinity of fresh water is 0. We'll answer this question at the end of the podcast. Good luck!
Periodically, the education program receives questions about marine life. We address these questions in our advice column called Dear Darren. Dear Darren, are there any endemic coastal plants near Hanauma Bay? Darren writes, yes, the Ihi Laokea fern is an endemic coastal plant that can only be found in 4 places in Hawaii. Its scientific name is Marcellia villosa, and it is an endangered species.
So, in addition to HBEP's volunteer program, outreach program, and school group program, the education program also has a service learning and stewardship program.
Yes, and here to talk about our service learning and stewardship program is Gavin.
Aloha Mahealani and aloha Charles.
Aloha.
Hey, how's it going? So Gavin, tell us about the service learning and stewardship program.
With the help of existing HBEP volunteers and led by myself, the Service Learning Coordinator, and Miss Annie Rosa, the Marine Preserve Education Specialist, the Malama Hanauma's Service Learning and Stewardship Program is highly dependent upon community involvement with activities catered towards high school and college students.
So by community, do you mean community members or groups or?
So we've hosted a wide variety of organizations from Tiffany and Company to the Boys and Girls Club, to Boy Scouts.
So basically any organized group that wants to do a little bit more than just come here and learn.
Yes,
they
that
actually
is
want
correct.
to get their hands dirty, help us do things like maintain certain areas of the park. Is that right?
Yep, that is correct.
That's really interesting, Gavin. So, How are people able to get in contact with you so they can be a part of this wonderful experience?
Well, if they're interested in the Malama Hanauma Service Learning and Stewardship Program, they can contact us via email, hanauma@hawaii.edu, or they can give us a call at area code 808-397-5840.
Okay, that's awesome. Thanks, Gavin.
Thank you.
Be a part of our podcast. Send a shout out to your friends and family back home. Birthday wishes, holiday greetings, and even a thank you. Send it to us at hbanews@hawaii.edu. Our shout out today is from one of our Hanauma Bay comment cards.
The comment card writes, Your volunteer, Mike Feely, went above and beyond for the visitors. He helped me out so much and was very kind. Thank you so much. Helping people is something we volunteers love to do, and it's nice to read this comment.
It shows that our volunteers are doing an excellent job, and props to Mike. Whoop whoop!
Whoop, 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 whoop.
There it is.
Well, that's a wrap, but before we go, we need to give you the answer to this podcast trivia question. What was the salinity of ocean water? And the answer is 35. The ocean has a salinity of 35. Something interesting about salinity is that it has no unit of measure.
Yes, that's right. Salinity used to be measured by parts per thousand, but researchers nowadays will record salinity with no units.
It takes a while to get used to, especially since scientists want to be as accurate as possible, but salinity measurements are indeed unitless.
Stay tuned for our next podcast, and mahalo for listening.
Aloha!
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 Throughout our education... What?
What the heck?
Your volunteer, Mike Feely, went above and beyond the visitors. Wait.
Where did he go from? I know he's tall, but
He's a tall guy. Mike, he's pretty tall.
He's huge.
He's taller than me, so he's pretty tall.
beyond the visitors.
This educational podcast featured 3 songs: Thoughts by Chad Smith, Happiness by bensound.com, and Cute by bensound.com. Find it on iTunes and bensound.com.